Chosen one, you got people living in fear of you right now, and it's all because of something you realized about them that they never wanted you to figure out. These sleepless nights they're having, the obsessive phone checking, the panic attacks when your name comes up, it's not paranoia, it's guilt eating them alive because they know you've seen straight through their carefully constructed lies. Someone tried to destroy you and failed miserably, and now they're terrified that you're going to expose exactly what kind of person they really are underneath all that fake energy they've been projecting to the world. Your time is coming, and they can feel it in their bones. That's why they're losing their minds with fear right now. Something extraordinary has been happening to you lately, and the people who used to have access to your energy are absolutely losing their minds trying to figure out what changed. You've been pulling back, withdrawing from certain people, certain situations, certain environments that used to drain you. You might think you're just being antisocial or protecting your peace, but what you're actually doing is triggering a massive fear response in people who used to feed off your reactions. You've become what I call a popular loner. Everyone wants to know what you're doing, what you're thinking, what your next move is going to be, but you're not telling them. You're minding your own business, focusing on your own growth, and that silence is driving certain people absolutely crazy. They're calling mutual friends, asking about you. They're checking your social media obsessively for clues about your state of mind. They're showing up to places they think you might be, hoping to run into you accidentally. Some of them are even creating fake accounts to keep tabs on your activities because you've blocked them from your main profiles. This transformation didn't happen overnight. You've been through something dark, a period where you felt isolated, maybe even abandoned, where you had to face some hard truths about people you trusted, where you had to choose between staying comfortable in dysfunction or walking away into the unknown. You chose to walk away, and in that walking away, something powerful awakened in you. Your gift of discernment started working overtime. You began seeing through people's masks without them saying a single word. You'd be in a conversation with someone, nodding and smiling, while simultaneously picking up on the fact that they'd been talking about you behind your back just hours before. You developed this uncanny ability to sense people's true intentions, their hidden agendas, their secret resentments. The really wild part, you didn't even need confirmation anymore. Your gut would tell you to distance yourself from someone, and you'd find out later that your instincts were absolutely right. You started removing people from your social media, declining invitations, becoming mysteriously unavailable to certain individuals, all because something inside you was screaming that these people meant you no good. You began trusting your inner knowing over social expectations. When someone's energy felt off, you stopped forcing yourself to be polite and accommodating. When someone made you feel drained after spending time with them, you stopped making excuses for why you felt that way. When someone's words didn't match their actions, you stopped giving them the benefit of the doubt. They noticed. Oh, they definitely noticed. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, there are multiple people from your past having vivid dreams about you. They wake up in cold sweats, wondering why you keep appearing in their subconscious. They can't shake the feeling that something is coming, that their actions toward you are about to catch up with them in ways they never anticipated. Some of these dreams are prophetic warnings. Others are just their guilty conscience manifesting in their sleep. Either way, they're waking up more tired than when they went to bed, and you're living rent-free in their heads without even trying. Let me break down exactly who we're dealing with here, because understanding your opponents is crucial to understanding your own power. There are actually 5 distinct categories of people who are currently terrified of you, and each one represents a different aspect of your growing influence. First, there's the secret keeper. This person is walking around with something they desperately don't want you to reveal. Maybe it's something they did to you directly, like sabotaging an opportunity, spreading lies about your character, or betraying a confidence you shared with them. Maybe it's something about their personal life that you witnessed when they thought nobody was paying attention. Affairs, addictions, illegal activities, or just general hypocrisy that would destroy their reputation if it came to light. They're convinced you're sitting on information that could destroy their carefully constructed image. Every day they don't hear from you is another day of wondering if today's the day you decide to speak up. They've probably even started distancing themselves from mutual friends, afraid that you might have already told people what you know. Then there's the failed destroyer. This person put real effort into trying to break you down psychologically. They spread rumors designed to damage your professional reputation. They tried to turn your friends against you with carefully crafted lies. They played mind games, gaslighted you, tried to make you doubt your own perceptions and memories. They did everything in their power to make you doubt yourself and give up on your dreams. They expected you to retreat permanently, to accept defeat, to acknowledge their superiority and disappear quietly from their sphere of influence. Instead, you emerged stronger. You're thriving. You're growing. You're achieving things they never thought you were capable of, and they can't make sense of it because their entire worldview is based on the idea that the strongest predator wins. The third category is the energy vampire. These are the people who used to feed off your emotional reactions, your willingness to engage in drama, your tendency to over-explain yourself or seek their approval. They used to be able to push your buttons and watch you scramble to fix whatever they claimed was wrong. They could start arguments with you and know you'd engage, giving them hours of entertainment and emotional supply. Now you just don't. You don't react. You don't explain. You don't chase. You don't defend yourself against their accusations. You've learned to let their words fall into empty space, and they're starving without access to your energy. They're panicking because their usual supply source has dried up completely. The fourth group consists of the jealous observers. These are people who never directly attacked you, but who secretly resented your natural gifts, your opportunities, your relationships, your potential. They've been hoping for years that life would humble you, that you'd fail at something significant, that you'd prove you weren't as special as you seemed. Instead, they're watching you level up in ways that make their own lives look stagnant by comparison. Your growth is forcing them to confront their own lack of progress, their own excuses, their own self-imposed limitations. Your success is becoming a mirror that reflects their own unfulfilled potential, and they hate what they see. The fifth and most dangerous category is the spiritual attackers. These are people who understand energy work and have been deliberately sending negative intentions your way. They might call it prayer, they might call it manifestation, they might call it setting intentions, but what they're really doing is trying to curse your path and block your progress through focused mental energy. Some of them are doing this consciously, knowing exactly what they're attempting. Others are doing it unconsciously, just wishing bad things would happen to you so consistently that they're actually creating energetic interference in your life. Either way, they're about to learn that what you send out comes back to you multiplied. What all these people have in common is that they're experiencing something they never expected, consequences for their actions toward you that don't require you to do anything at all. Your operating philosophy has always been simple. You believe in living and letting live. You don't go out of your way to hurt people, even people who've hurt you. Your motto has always been, do whatever you want, just don't hurt anybody. You trust that the universe has its own way of balancing things out, so you don't feel the need to seek revenge or play dirty games. This mindset completely baffles the people who've tried to harm you, because they operate from a completely different place. They assume everyone thinks like they do, that if someone has power over you, they'll use it to destroy you. So when they realize you have information or influence that could damage them, they project their own mentality onto you and live in constant fear of retaliation. The irony is devastating. They're torturing themselves over revenge that you're never planning to take. There's someone specific I need to tell you about, chosen one. Someone from a situation that ended badly, where things were left unresolved. Maybe it was a friendship that imploded when you discovered they'd been undermining you behind your back. Maybe it was a work situation that got toxic when they tried to take credit for your ideas. Maybe it was a romantic relationship where they cheated or betrayed your trust in some fundamental way. This person is having sleepless nights about you right now. They're lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying every interaction you had during the final weeks of your relationship, wondering how much you really know, wondering if you've told other people what you figured out about them. They're scrolling through old text conversations, analyzing every word you said toward the end, looking for clues about your true thoughts. They remember the exact moment when your energy toward them shifted, the day you stopped asking questions and started giving short answers, the week you stopped initiating contact and only responded when they reached out first, the moment they realized you were looking at them differently, like you could see straight through their facade. The thing that's eating them alive is this: you had the power to destroy their reputation completely. You knew things about them that could have turned their whole world upside down if you'd chosen to share that information publicly. They did something terrible to you. They crossed lines they never should have crossed, and you had every justification to expose them to everyone in your shared social or professional circles. Maybe you caught them lying about something significant. Maybe you discovered they'd been stealing from you, money, ideas, opportunities, or just emotional energy. Maybe you found out they'd been playing multiple people against each other, using your trust to gather information they could weaponize later. Maybe you witnessed them doing something that revealed their true character when they thought no one was watching. You didn't just suspect these things, you knew them, you had evidence, you had receipts. You had the power to prove to everyone else what kind of person they really were underneath their public persona, and you said nothing. You just went quiet. You stopped engaging. You removed yourself from the situation entirely and moved on with your life. At first, they probably felt relieved. They dodged a bullet, right? You could have ruined them, but you chose not to. Crisis averted. They probably even told themselves that you didn't really know what you thought you knew, that you were just being dramatic or oversensitive. Except the relief didn't last, because now they're realizing that your silence wasn't mercy, it was strategy. You weren't being weak or naive when you chose not to retaliate. You were being smart. You understood something they didn't, that sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. While they were expecting a fight, you were playing a completely different game. You removed their access to your energy, your reactions, your emotional investment in the outcome. You took yourself out of their drama and left them to face the consequences of their actions without you as a target or a distraction. And now those consequences are catching up with them in ways that have nothing to do with you, but everything to do with the energy they put out into the world when they tried to harm you. Your truth and your light has their guilt eating them alive, and you haven't had to do a single thing to make that happen. That's the power of operating from integrity when others operate from manipulation. Your very existence becomes a mirror that reflects back their own darkness, and they can't stand what they see. The dreams they're having about you aren't random. They're spiritual downloads, messages from their own higher self, trying to get them to face what they've done and make amends. Some of them are even having dreams where you're warning them about their current path, showing them how their patterns of behavior are destroying other relationships in their life. The really intense part, some of them are having dreams where spiritual beings, angels, guides, ancestors are telling them directly to leave you alone and focus on healing their own karma. They're getting cosmic warnings to stop trying to interfere with your path because you're protected by forces they can't fight against. A few of them are starting to pay attention to these warnings. They're beginning to understand that you're not just another person they can manipulate or harm without consequences. They're realizing that attacking you is like attacking a force of nature. It just bounces back on them with compound interest. Something incredible has been happening during this period of withdrawal. While certain people have been losing sleep over you, you've been gaining something far more valuable, crystal clear discernment that's practically supernatural in its accuracy. The fog that other people's chaos used to create in your mind has completely lifted. You're no longer second-guessing your instincts about people. When someone gives you a bad feeling, you trust that feeling immediately, instead of trying to rationalize it away. When someone's energy feels off, you create distance without needing to gather evidence or build a case. You've learned to act on your inner knowing without requiring external validation, and this upgrade is terrifying to people who are used to being able to fool others. They're realizing that their usual tricks don't work on you anymore. The manipulation tactics that used to confuse you now bounce right off. The guilt trips that used to make you question yourself now just confirm that you made the right choice to distance yourself. You're also developing what I call psychic timing. You'll get the urge to check someone's social media and discover they just posted something that reveals their true character. You'll decide to distance yourself from someone and find out later that very same week they were planning something against you. You'll decline an invitation to an event and discover afterward that the person who invited you was planning to use that gathering to embarrass or confront you publicly. The Obsidian inner order, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you walk through this awakening alone, never gonna scroll past your suffering like it's just content. This isn't just a rickroll, it's a lifeline in disguise. I built the Obsidian inner order because too many of us have been exiled for seeing the truth, cast out by family, gaslit by cults, haunted by gifts we didn't ask for. So now we gather, every week live on Zoom, real people, real faces, a former CFO turned psychic, a seer who escaped Mormonism, a healer who broke free of ritual abuse. And yes, the calls are recorded, so when you're on the floor you can come back to the field. We're not a meme, we're a miracle, and we're never gonna give you up. Join the Obsidian Inner Order, link in the description. This isn't coincidence. Your spiritual protection system has been upgraded. You're being guided away from situations and people that mean you harm before you even consciously realize there's a threat. You've also been reclaiming your power in ways that might not even be fully conscious yet. All those times people tried to take pieces of your energy, your confidence, your joy, your opportunities, you're calling all of that back to yourself. Every boundary you set, every toxic person you remove from your life, every moment you choose your peace over their drama, you're becoming more powerful. The universe has been orchestrating this transformation behind the scenes. You were meant to go through that dark period of isolation because it was the only way to separate you from the people and situations that were holding you back. You needed to be alone so you could remember who you are without other people's opinions and expectations clouding your judgment. During that hermit phase, you weren't just healing, you were evolving. Your intuitive abilities were getting stronger, your energetic boundaries were becoming more solid, your connection to your higher purpose was deepening, your ability to see through illusions was sharpening to a razor's edge. Now you're emerging from that transformative period, stronger than you've ever been. Your faith in yourself is unshakable. Your trust in the process is absolute. You know that doors will open for you without you having to force them. You know that you don't have to manipulate or destroy anyone else to get where you're going. This confidence in your own path is what's really terrifying to the people who've tried to block you. They've watched you survive everything they threw at you and come out even more determined to succeed. They're starting to realize that you're protected by something bigger than they can fight against. Some of them are even having spiritual experiences that are warning them to back off, dreams where they're told to leave you alone, synchronicities that make it clear they're fighting a losing battle, situations in their own lives that mirror the energy they sent toward you, showing them exactly how it feels to be on the receiving end of that kind of treatment. The people who tried to curse your path are discovering that their negative intentions are bouncing back to them like boomerangs. The lies they told about you are being exposed in their own lives. The energy they tried to steal from you is being withdrawn from their own relationships and opportunities. Meanwhile, you're experiencing the opposite effect. Doors are opening that were previously locked. People are reaching out with opportunities they've never offered before. Resources are becoming available that seemed impossible to access just months ago. Your reputation is being restored and elevated by people who witnessed how you handled the attacks against you. The most beautiful part of this whole story, chosen one, is that you're about to enter a phase where everything you've been through starts making perfect sense. All the betrayals, all the attacks, all the periods of isolation and doubt, they were preparing you for something bigger than you ever imagined possible. You've developed a slow and steady approach to life that's absolutely unstoppable. You don't believe you have to step on other people to reach your goals. You don't think you need to play dirty games or destroy anyone's reputation to succeed. You trust the process completely, knowing that if something is meant for you, it will find its way to you through ethical means. This mindset is your superpower, and it's about to pay off in ways that will shock the people who tried to count you out, while they've been using manipulation and low-level tactics to try to get ahead in life. You've been building real strength, real character, real spiritual power. While they've been focused on tearing others down, you've been focused on building yourself up. While they've been creating enemies, you've been creating authentic connections with people who genuinely support your highest good. When they run out of tricks and schemes, they have nothing left to sustain them. When their reputation catches up with their actions, they have no real allies to support them. When their karma comes due, they have no spiritual protection to shield them from the consequences. You, on the other hand, have faith, you have integrity, and you have the backing of forces they can't even see. You've built your success on a foundation that can't be shaken by external circumstances. You've developed internal resources that no one can steal or sabotage. The people who tried to destroy you are about to watch you rise to levels they never imagined possible. And the most crushing part for them will be realizing that you did it without using any of their methods. You proved that there's a better way, a higher way, a more powerful way to achieve lasting success. Your former enemies are going to get weaker and weaker as time goes on, because they can't sustain themselves on the energy they used to steal from you and others. They're going to have to face the reality of who they really are, without external validation, without people to blame, without victims to feed off of. Some of them will eventually wake up and try to apologize, hoping to get back into your good graces. Others will double down on their toxic behavior and continue spiraling downward. A few will simply fade into irrelevance as you move into circles where their influence can't reach you. Meanwhile, you're going to get stronger and brighter with each passing day. The energy that used to drain you will bounce right off of you now because you've already been through the worst of it. You've been tested by fire and emerged as pure gold. The opportunities that are about to open up for you will be so perfectly aligned with your values and purpose that you'll know they came from a divine source. The people who are about to enter your life will appreciate and support the real you, not some fake version you feel pressured to perform. The success you're about to experience will be sustainable because it's built on truth rather than deception. There's a divine plan behind everything you've experienced, chosen one. Even the people who positioned themselves as your enemies served a purpose in your story. They forced you to develop strength you didn't know you had. They pushed you to discover gifts you might never have accessed otherwise. They made you so resilient that nothing they try in the future will even faze you. Your time is coming, not in some distant future, but right now. The doors that have been closed are about to swing wide open. The opportunities that seemed impossible are about to become inevitable. The vindication you've been waiting for is about to arrive in ways that will exceed your wildest expectations. You're going to see confirmation after confirmation that you made the right choices, that you took the right path, that you trusted the right instincts. Every person you walked away from, every situation you refused to tolerate, every time you chose your peace over their chaos, it's all about to make perfect sense. The people who are living in fear of you right now have good reason to be afraid. Not because you're planning any kind of revenge, but because your success is going to be the ultimate proof that their way of operating doesn't work. Your joy is going to be evidence that integrity wins in the end. Your peace is going to demonstrate the power of walking away from toxicity. You don't need to think about them anymore, chosen one. Their chapter in your story is over. You're moving into a new phase where only people who genuinely support your highest good will have access to your energy. The universe has cleared the path ahead of you, removing everyone who wasn't meant to witness your next level of greatness. Your only job now is to keep being exactly who you are, someone who operates from love, someone who trusts the process, someone who knows that real power comes from staying true to your values, even when others around you have lost their way. The chosen ones always win in the end. Your time is here, and everyone who tried to dim your light is about to discover exactly why you were never meant to be defeated. The fear they're experiencing right now is just the beginning. As your star continues to rise, as your influence continues to grow, as your purpose continues to unfold, they're going to realize that they were never fighting against just a person. They were fighting against destiny itself, and destiny always wins.